What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Missing Person Case Monday. Today I have a couple that is currently missing, and they have been missing for over 3 years because you guys know if we do not continue to keep their name alive, you know how these cases can go. So we have to continue to keep their names alive. So the couple that I'm going to be discussing is 26-year-old Audrey Moran and 28-year-old Johnathan Reynoso. Have currently been missing from the California area. They have it stated as Coachella Valley in California, but as I begin to read, you'll guys see where kind of their last pinpoint was, because a lot of different articles just say California. A lot of other articles say like Coachella Valley, or some of them say, you know, Palm Desert. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I was really trying to pinpoint where exactly, but yeah. So on May 10th of 2017, it has said that Audrey was supposed to be spending time with her boyfriend, but before she got with her boyfriend, she went to work at the extra storage space. And then once she left there, she went to her sister's home in Coachella, California. Around 8 p.m. that night, she left her sister's home to go pick up Johnathan, who was in Brawley's, California. Went to go pick him up because he didn't own a vehicle at the time, and he was out there with some friends. And she was going to pick him up and take him back to Palm Desert, California, where he actually resided. But around 8:45 p.m., Audrey's sister says that she gets a text message from Audrey, and is a photo of Audrey and Johnathan, but it appears to be slightly an older photo. It said that Audrey may have sent this photo just for fun and kind of just to let her sister know she was with Johnathan in a sense. The authorities do not believe anything was suspicious surrounding that photo text message. May 11th, Audrey's family was trying to get in contact with her. They had a really close relationship and talked very periodically, but it was very ironic for Audrey not to text back or to return any phone calls. So on March 12th, Audrey's family then went to the police department to file a missing person case because, like I said previously, this was not ideal for Audrey, and this is kind of when the investigation begins, honestly, for both Johnathan and Audrey, because Johnathan as well begins to disappear. Initially, the Indio Police Department was in charge of this investigation. During the early stages of the investigation, Audrey and Johnathan were basically considered voluntary missing adults. And they did interview a lot of their friends and family in this early stage, but like their family and friends said, they had a really good relationship. So there was not any really red flags when it came to them kind of fighting it out, you know, like if you disappear. Johnathan's close friends tells police that the last time he spoke to him was around 9:05 p.m. on May 10th. And it has said to believe that he messaged a Instagram group chat. So on May 12th, around 9 a.m., police officers found Audrey's charcoal gray 2010 SUV. It was located on the westbound I-10 Valley Parkway in Beaumont, California. Police authorities had located her vehicle by using OnStar. Police were kind of shocked because her vehicle was parked kind of off of the direction towards traveling to Brawley, California. The Oak Valley Parkway was actually 45 minutes west. There was no signs of any damages to the SUV, and everything looked perfectly fine toward. It also had a gas full and no damages to the vehicle, which is oddly strange. Upon finding the vehicle, police brought in, of course, the dogs to track Johnathan and Audrey's scent. I was reading in an article, which will be linked down below so you guys can check it out. It varies if the scent actually picked up just Audrey's or both of them, or just Johnathan's scent. But it was confirmed that they were able to follow a scent, but they can't identify who exactly scent it was, because again, Johnathan and Audrey were together. We were able to follow that scent west of the SUV for about 20 yards before it stopped. This led investigators to believe that the pair got into another vehicle. They did do a search of the SUV, but nothing was truly out of the ordinary when it came to the investigation of it. There was no identification of finding Johnathan's wallet, Audrey's purse. Neither were their cell phones in the vehicle as well. As a result, the vehicle was returned to Audrey's family. Upon finding the vehicle on I-10, it had many, and even the investigators, wondering what exactly were they doing out there, or if maybe just someone had just parked the vehicle out there, because if you know how traffic is when that kind, especially in California, if you've ever been to California, you know, it doesn't really necessarily capture people. It mostly captures like the live footage of cars and vehicles just coming and going. In order to continue to spread the word on the disappearance of Audrey and Johnathan, both families joined forces to hand out flyers, and they've handed these flyers all out through California, Arizona, Nevada, Mexico. Like, they came together, which is honestly great, because when you think about it, two families are suffering because they do not know where their child, niece, or nephew is. Those were also shared with the hashtag Find Johnathan and Audrey, and that's a great tool, because if you guys don't utilize hashtags, it's very important, because you can continue to keep on with other cases. That's the one thing I do like about social media, is the usage when you're utilizing it correctly, because it can be such a powerful tool. But as the investigation began to brew on, police officers began to kind of give an account of what they think transpired. They believe that Johnathan and Audrey, something happened in between May 10th and May 11th. They do not believe that they made it back to Johnathan's place of residence. It's only showed that Johnathan or Audrey only made any phone calls in the Coachella Valley area. It was not anything outside of that particular area, and they weren't able to ping their cell phone records to anything else, because they believe that Audrey and Johnathan's phones may have died in this transaction. So police officers actually went to Johnathan's residence, and there was a pizza box that was discovered. Some to question if in fact did they actually travel to Broadly. Pizza was said to be delivered around 5:45 p.m. on May 10th. During that time, it is said to believe that Johnathan was out of town. It said that it is truly unbelievable for that to happen, because again, Johnathan didn't own a vehicle, and he was supposed to be heading to Broadly with some friends. In the report that I read, it said as of 2019, police were not able to confirm if in fact Johnathan traveled to Broadly, but they do believe he was traveling back to Palm Desert. Friends, but of course they do not know who these friends were. There was a GoFund account set up for money to be raised so that they continue to search for the disappearance of Audrey and Johnathan, and they were able to meet their goal. And as I read, it was said that as their case began to make news, of course, national news, there was a lot of rumors that came about into the case, which in fact kind of delayed the case in a sense, because many of the police officers were stating that a lot of things were false, and they wanted people to not do that. And that's another thing about the power of social media, is people will give their opinion on things, especially if they think they really know you and they don't. They will make up all types of lies. Also been conflicting reports as if Audrey was dating another man around the time or before her disappearance. And as I was reading, Johnathan and Audrey, their relationship was fairly new. So I guess it is said to believe that she was dating someone else. A few days after the pair went missing, the man who was reported that she was dating vehicle went missing. And ironically, that vehicle, same vehicle, was torched, set on fire. That man was interviewed by police. A search warrant was set so that they could check his home, but they haven't released any information. In January 2018, the case was handed over to the Riverside County Police Department, the homicide unit. They believe that Johnathan and Audrey did not leave on their own accord. In 2019, the Riverside Police Department stated that they do believe this case is solvable. While they have only shared a little bit of information to the public, they have been working diligently to bring home Johnathan and Audrey. But they did say there is no evidence to truly confirm if Audrey and Johnathan are dead or alive. So as of such, the case is still considered a missing person case. And that is pretty much the details of Audrey and Johnathan. They are still missing till this day. Some theories out there floating around, one of which people think that they started a new life together because their relationship was fairly new and they just wanted to start over. But I don't believe that theory because from reading and looking on their family's Facebook page, which I'll link down below, they seem to have a really tight relationship with their parents and their family members. So I don't believe that theory at all. The second theory out there is that the mystery man who Audrey was dating at the same time as Johnathan had something to do with it. They believe maybe he was jealous and he wanted Audrey to himself, and maybe he had something to do with it, especially because he burnt his own vehicle, or it is said that he burnt his own vehicle. It said that, you know, he did that so that way police couldn't find any information regarding the disappearance of Audrey and Johnathan. That one I can kind of believe. And there's a last theory. Many believe that there's foul play associated to this case. One being as though the text message that Audrey claimed to have sent to her sister of an old photo. It raises an eyebrow as to why would she send an old photo to her sister without kind of any other message attached to it. Now, I don't know if there was any other message attached to it because it doesn't specify. But that would make me say, why did you send me this old photo? Like, if my sister did something like that, like, okay, what are you sending me this for? Like, I don't care. And just many believe that someone may have gotten a hold of their phones. And there was another theory that people believe. They believe that it was like a drug deal gone bad. Now, there isn't any evidence of that, but you can't rule it out because human trafficking is very real and drugs are very real too. So it could be any of those 2 or 3. You know, it just makes you wonder what happened that night. Why was her vehicle parked literally like 20 years, going in the different direction of where she was supposed to be going? It just doesn't make sense. I feel like her truck was planted to be there, to throw police off because they knew that someone would be reporting these 2 individuals missing. But nonetheless, both families are holding out hope and they are praying that Audrey and Johnathan return safe and sound. And that is pretty much their story, guys. Again, as always in every video, I'm sending their families love and light and pray they get the information that they seek. And I do pray they return home safely. So guys, until the next missing person case video, I will see you.